beautiful people. Welcome, welcome. If you're new, welcome. My name is Georgia. So, we are going to do a recap and a review of the interview that Carlos King did with NeNe Leakes on his YouTube channel called Carlos King Reality with the King. And the title of the video is NeNe Leakes Exclusive Chat with Carlos King. And this is a review of part 1. So of course we usually see Carlos King do his interviews, but he usually does them by stream or Zoom or whatever it's called. But NeNe sachets in onto the set and she let Carlos King know that, listen, I will not be doing an interview with you on Zoom where you're sitting in your closet, as Carlos closet, call it his closet office. Let's put two words together, closet and office. He calls it his closet office. And NeNe was like, no, girl, no, no, no. We are about to sit down and we're going to do this face to face. She tells Carlos that she thinks he should be doing more face to face interview because it's not a good look that he's in his closet with his shoes behind him doing interviews. So Carlos said, he's going to do more in-person interviews. We find out why she has not done interviews in a long time. Like she said, part of it has to do with the legal battle that she's still processing, that's still going on. Another reason is because she was not ready. She was not ready to give an interview, and she actually called Carlos and let him know that she wanted to do the interview with him. So he is the self-proclaimed king of reality TV. And as we all know, NeNe is the queen of reality TV, because even though there were reality TV shows before the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that show actually put reality TV on the map for a lot of people. And from the inception of that show, we have birthed so many other reality TV shows on Bravo, where we have this whole franchise of Real Housewives off. We have Atlanta, which is the original. We have Jersey. We have New York. We have Beverly Hills. We have Orange County. We have Dubai. We have Dallas. Wow, it's been a lot. So NeNe is right in saying that she is the queen of reality TV, and we can also attest to that fact. So, okay, like I said, she comes in, she sachets it like she always does. She has this walk that I think only NeNe can do. And, she greets Carlos and they talk about some fun moments, fun time, fun memories and stuff. And Carlos, he got serious and he said, listen, NeNe. Of course, she didn't want it because she was getting a little bit choked up. But Carlos said, I have to give you your flowers and I have to let you know that I adore you. And I just love the way that he spoke to her, the way he loved her up with his words and stuff. But it was just a nice greeting. Of course, I didn't think they planned to put that part on, but they left it in. And then we start getting into the questions. So they were talking about back in the days when they worked together. So now we find out the history between Carlos and NeNe. The fact that when he worked on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that was his first big gig in producing. And he lets us know that, when he first moved from New York to Georgia to work on the show, he was assigned, each producer is assigned 2 reality stars. And he was assigned NeNe and another reality TV star called Deshawn Snow. So he said when he first met NeNe, he fell in love with her, the way they greeted each other, like, hey B, welcome, we're gonna make it happen. And then they talked about the fact that they didn't have any money. They weren't rich, but they were rich in happiness because they were excited to see where this would go. Neither one of them had any idea that this would take off the way it did and that it was become as big as it did, because they were just, you have an idea, you're going to work, which is how most things happen. This is most empires are built. You have an idea and you work on it. They said they were living paycheck to paycheck, and it's really interesting to see how far they've come. So Carlos asked her a genuine question. He said, "NeNe, I just want to ask you, how are you? We haven't really talked in a while, but how are you doing?" And NeNe's like, I'm good. There's certain things that are still going on that I can't talk about, but I'm doing good. She congratulated Carlos in making it in the industry. She said, "You know what? This is not going to be a one-sided interview. You and I are going to have a conversation. You're going to ask me questions. I'm going to ask you, and we're going to take it from there." So Carlos told her that, "NeNe, from the moment I met you, I know that you were destined to be a reality star." And NeNe thanked him, like I said, for the flowers that he gave her. And then, he started getting to it. So she let us know that she pitched the pilot to Bravo regarding the show. It was her original cast was NeNe, Sheree, and Kim Zolciak. She said after three tapings of the episode, she felt like she wasn't giving her genuine self, and she went home and she didn't feel good about it. And from that moment, she made up her mind that she was gonna give her reality, because she felt like she was putting on an act, and she didn't like the way it was going. So from the moment she gave us our reality through the screen, that's when we fell in love with her. The moment it happened is when we had Sheree having a party at her house, and NeNe showed up, and she wasn't being let in. And like Carlos said, that was the first time somebody actually broke the fourth wall, meaning, you're talking to the producers while you're on screen, or talking to the audience while you're on screen about what's going on behind the scenes. And she let the person at the gate, so you see these cameras following behind me, there's a reason that's happening, and I need to get in. You remember that Sheree was saying that she didn't know what happened. She didn't want, well, finally, Sheree admitted recently that she did leave NeNe's name off the list, and she did it for a reason. And Carlos said, "What do you think the reason is?" And the conversation was going back and forth, and I think the reason that came about was that, she wanted the spotlight. And as we all know, even though NeNe still is not on the show since season 11, we're in season 15, the spotlight is still on NeNe behind the scenes. Sheree has not become the star that she wanted, and she couldn't take the spotlight away from NeNe, because NeNe has that personality that makes you want to watch her. She's not boring, she's entertaining, and she does it genuinely. So that's why everybody likes her. So they go on to talking some more, and Carlos asked her, say, "Do you think you developed an ego after season 1?" And she said no. And to her point, she's like, everybody needs to grow, and you can't stay stagnant like that, because then you become boring, you become uninteresting. But I don't think I've gained an ego. She has an air about her, in my opinion, but I don't believe it's a grand ego. So he asked her, he said, "When do you think the show actually changed?" And she said it was around season 4 or 5 when Kenya came. She said at that season, people weren't giving us their true reality. We were having stories made up where people were renting boyfriends. Remember, we went crazy with the reviews that season. We were like, something ain't right about this relationship. And I think we spent the whole season trying to figure out who this guy was that Kenya was dating, and if they were in a real relationship. So now we're finding out, as we all knew before, that she did that for a storyline. She said there were fake relationships happening where it would have been better TV if we showed the actual women trying to, within the dating world, actually going out on dates, actually trying to find a guy and stuff like that. It would have made it more interesting. So she said she felt that the season changed when Kenya came, and that was around season 4 or 5. They weren't sure which one. So it got into the discussion of salary. So Carlos asked her, or she volunteered that on the first season, they were filming for 3 months straight, and for that season they made only $10,000 their first season. So I'm not sure. And she said they made $5,000 for the reunion. So I'm not sure if that was a combination of the season plus the reunion, or just the $10,000 total. She didn't clarify that. She said on season 2 they made $50,000 each, and then on season 3 now the ladies came together with an attorney, renegotiated their contract, and that's when they all made $100,000 to $150,000 each. She's not sure exactly how much, but nothing turned around until season 3, which is when they started making money. She said before that, every outfit or every luxury item that you saw them in, they paid for that out of their own money. And she said that the reason why they weren't really thinking about money was like that, it was because they really didn't need it. They were actually housewives just going about doing everyday stuff, and they were just happy to be out of the house and be on TV. So she let us know that they weren't paying much attention to the monetary gains. But after season 3, they were like, wait a minute, we're making this show, we're making this network money, and we're not getting paid. So therefore, we're going to make sure that we get paid for our time. Now, we talk about Cynthia now. She told us that the network was looking to bring in some new ladies onto the show, and Cynthia was one of them. So she was told to hang out with Cynthia. And at first, she didn't think that Cynthia was a good fit for the show because she didn't find that she was housewife material. But when she met Peter now, she felt that Peter was extra and that he was more interested. So Carlos asked her, do you think that the network picked up Cynthia because of the influence that Peter had? And she's like, yeah, Peter made them more interesting as a couple. But even though she was told to hang out with Cynthia, they actually became friends. She actually liked Cynthia. She looked at Cynthia as a sister. But something happened down the line where, the friendship could never be the same again. But we're going to touch base on that. So Carlos asked her, did you ever have an attraction to Peter? And she was like, no, Peter and I was not attracted to him like that. She said that it was more of a banter between the two. She just liked his personality, but there was no attraction there. But yeah, that was the conversation about Peter. So now he asked her about Phaedra. And NeNe said, Phaedra is from the same place I'm from, and when she came around, I didn't think she should be there. She's like, where? Yeah, she should not be here. Why is she here? So she felt the way she felt. NeNe said that she felt that she needed to protect the integrity of the show, and certain people she felt like she needed to handpick to be on the show because certain people were not there. They talk about the fact that, when the show came about, it was the hottest thing in Atlanta. It was the hottest thing around. Everybody wanted to be on the show. But NeNe wanted to make sure that she handpicked the people who actually appeared on it, who was considered a housewife, because it was her baby. She created the show. So therefore, when the network started coming to her and telling her certain people, they were looking at certain people to bring on the show, she was not with it. And maybe that was one of the reasons why they kept clashing, because she had a personal stake in it as far as, this is my show. But when they brought it to Bravo, I'm sure there were certain contractual obligations or things that was written in her contract that said, you know what, you brought us the show, thank you very much, let us take it from here and mold it the way we want to mold it. And she didn't want to let that control go. So I think that might have been one of the reasons why her and Bravo were clashing heads like that. Another question that Carlos asked her is like, are you regretful that you brought your family business on the show? She said yes and no. There's two things that she wished she didn't address on the show. There was a time when she disciplined her son on the show and she hurt his feelings, and people were still calling out her to this day about it. And the fact that the divorce between her and Greg, the first time, well, the only time I should say, she wished she didn't bring that to the show. And she goes in to tell us how Greg called her on the phone when she actually went all the way through with it and said, I can't believe you really divorced me. And she talked about that. So now with that going on, remember it's really fresh that we have Bryson. Her son is was recently arrested for possession of and she's letting us know, and it's out there that he has a problem with that substance abuse. So she's letting us know that he has been in and out of rehab a number of times, where she's dragged him and put him in rehab, and through counseling, family counseling, they've come to realize that until he wants to be clean and stay clean, it's just a waste of time and money. So at this point, she said she is not going to be pushing him. She has friends who have reached out to her, offering to help her get him through the process of rehab. And she tells them as soon as he gets out, you could just grab him and take him and do what you want. She said he's a grown man. He has 3 children. And he needs to realize that he needs to be there for his family. She's like, I love my son, but there's nothing else I could do to help him. She tells us that it's a history in the family of that. She has a brother who struggles with it. She has a close cousin who struggles with it. Thank God she doesn't, but she doesn't know what else to do until he wants to get the help that he needs. There's nothing she could do for him. So yeah, we understand it. We have regular schmegular people, as they say out here, who's going through that on a daily basis. And that is the advice that was given. Until a person wants to be clean and stay clean, there's nothing you can really do about it. She said her ex-boyfriend John, the guy she dated between the time she divorced Greg and remarried Greg, he offered to put Bryson in a rehab facility here in New York. And also Lamar Odom, the basketball player, has offered to help her get him in rehab. So we'll see. Carlos asked her if she still have that Rolex watch that John gave her when they were dating, and she does have it. See, keep things, precious things, precious memories that people give you. We talk about some of the one-liners from, back in the days in the episodes. We all remember her from all her one-liners and her sayings. And one of the most famous ones is "Close your legs to married men." And she told that to Kim. And so Carlos is like, okay, you made that comment and now you were dating a married man. So NeNe goes in and she lets us know that when she started dating Yoni, he was in the process of getting a divorce. Or was he divorced? She said, I forget. She said, but at the moment they are not dating anymore. She's actually single. He's single. And Carlos asks why. She said there could only be one star in the household. So Carlos said it's been rumored that he was dating you for clout and fame. And NeNe said, no, I really don't think so. However, he didn't shy away from it. If it's there, he's going to come. He's going to be in the spotlight with me. But she said it was a nice distraction from the death of Greg. She really needed somebody around her to help her process through it. And I believe that's where Yoni came in. And he was able to help her go through that. She says she's looking to date. She's a relationship girl. She wants to get into another relationship. And she is not, she won't shy away from different races. She will date, outside her race, and she's fine with that. Carlos tells her that I think he wants her to go through a whole phase. And I've never had a whole phase. That's something you do in your 20s, ain't it? In your early 20s until you settle down. I guess it doesn't matter what age you are. It depends on when it comes around, because some people get married right out of high school, they get divorced, and then they go into that phase. Well, you have to embrace your whole phase for a little bit before you settle down. So he tells her he wants her to date around and then settle down again. So they talk for a little while. Now we talk about the season 5, where Kenya and Portia came on the show. And Carlos asked her, do you think that with those 2 ladies coming on the show that the temperature of the show changed? And she said yes, because people were not being genuine. He asked her, why is it you never had a friendship with Kenya? She said because when Kenya first came in, Kenya was friends with Phaedra, and her and Phaedra were butting heads. And then we had Kenya coming at her friend Cynthia. So she had to defend her friend Cynthia. And with that, her and Kenya never really had a friendship. So Carlos tells her that the highest rating season is season 6, where the 6 ladies were on. They had a viewing of 5 million people in season 6. And right now we're at 500,000 in season 15, which is a huge difference. The 6 people who were there were NeNe, Portia, Kenya, Candy, Phaedra, Cynthia, and then we had the friend of the show, Marlo. She tells us that Portia was on the chopping block for season 6. After season 5, Portia was not supposed to come back, but she was going through a divorce from Cordell. So NeNe and Candy went to the executive producers and asked them to keep Portia on the show because she's going through a divorce and she actually needs the show to keep her going. So with that, they kept her. And NeNe's like, people tend to forget when you do things for them. You know, they don't remember when times were hard and they needed help and you turn around and help them. She said what made the season good was that on that season, everybody worked. Everybody came with their authentic self. Everybody came in and told us about their reality. And because of that, you know, the viewers came in and they saw everybody doing the real thing with their relationships. And that what made the season really happen. She said that, I forget what the conversation was, where she said that Kenya wasn't a star. Or I think Carlos asked her, do you feel like Kenya was the star of season 6? She's like, no, Kenya was not a star, and she still not is. She says that we talked about her and Kenya being friend or friendly, and it didn't work. And then we talk about the struggle with her and Cynthia's friendship. She felt that people got in Cynthia's ear and was telling Cynthia that, you know, NeNe was making Cynthia look like a minion. And that was being said all around anyway, in the social media, on the show itself. And she said she cherished the friendship with Cynthia. However, she does not feel that her and Cynthia could ever be friends because she has found out that Cynthia was trying to get her off the show. Like she was trying to get her terminated from the show, and she knows that for sure. So therefore, she could never be friends with her again. She felt that in most of the season, she was not supported as a friend. She felt that people came on the show to come at her because she was the star. So therefore, when you go after the big cheese, then you take over. This is like the mafia. You go after the big boss, you get rid of him so that you could be in charge. So that's how NeNe felt that most of the ladies were coming at her. She said that in all the work that she does in all the shows, all the Broadway plays, all the TV shows, she has never had a problem as much as she did on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She said she's not a problem. All she wants when she comes, she doesn't ask for all those gratuities and stuff like that when you're on set. All she wants is some water and her check. That's it. I come prepared, I come early, I do my job, and that's what I want. But all the drama was coming at her from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she felt that it's because all the ladies wanted to take her spotlight. So, and that's why she said it was a struggle for her to decide to come back for season 12. And that's when she decided that no, she was not about to come back. So yes, that was the first part of the interview between NeNe Leakes and Carlos King, where he says NeNe Leakes exclusive chat with Carlos King part 1. I am going to watch part 2 and do a review on that and come back and tell you what else NeNe said. But it was really, really good to see NeNe in this interview. Some of the comments in Carlos King comment section of that interview, one in particular I want to read, and I think it stands out. It says Tamar Powerhouse said, "This is the first time since Real Housewives season 3 I've seen NeNe this authentic and open. I like when she is real with her reads are not toxic. It seems like the bitterness is gone. I'm happy she's had time to get back to her. And I totally agree with that comment. It was really good to see NeNe in this light. Her and Carlos were having fun. The interview was light. There were times when she played around. There was times when she was serious and let you know that, girl, I am playing with you. I'm serious about this. But it was really good to see. So I'm looking forward to the second half of this interview. And I'm glad she finally sat down and spoke to Carlos. We found out a lot about what was going on behind the scenes with the show and how certain people were being. I know since this interview went up, Carlos says that NeNe has gotten the girls have woken up. They're on Twitter saying certain things. They're on Instagram saying certain things. They're all over there answering some part of this interview to NeNe. It's been up for about a week or so. So far, we have almost a million views on this. So everybody is watching this interview. I will leave the link for this interview down in the description so that you guys could go and watch it for yourself to see what else she talks about, or if there's anything that I did not mention in this recap and review. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video if you wish, and until next time, be sure to take care of yourselves and your family. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.